ഹലോ അസ്സാം വലൈക്കും. ഇത് ഒരു പുസ്തകമാണ്. ഇത് ഞാൻ ജസ്റ്റ് അതിന് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ഞാൻ കണ്ടു വായിച്ചതിൽ ചില ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയ ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ കണ്ടു. ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാമെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചിട്ടാണ്. ഇത് ഞാൻ ഇത് ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയില്ല ഈ പുസ്തകം. ഇത് ഇൻ്റർനെറ്റ് ആർച്ചീവിന് ഫ്രീ ആയിട്ട് ഒരു മണിക്കൂർ നമുക്ക് റീഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന പുസ്തകമാണ്. വേണമെങ്കിൽ എക്സ്റ്റെൻഡ് ചെയ്യാം. എന്താ പുസ്തകത്തിൻ്റെ പേര് സഹീഫ ഹമാം ഇബിൻ മുനാബി ബൈ ഹമീദുള്ള, ഡോക്ടർ ഹമീദുള്ളൻ്റെ പുസ്തകമാണ്. ദ ഏർലിയസ്റ്റ് എക്സ്റ്റൻഡ് വർക്ക് ഓൺ ഹദീസ്. നമ്മൾ എല്ലാം വായിക്കില്ല ചെയ്യുന്നത്, ചില ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള പാർട്സ് വായിക്കണം. ഇവിടുന്ന് വായിക്കാം. ദ ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ഓഫ് ജനറൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ബൈ പ്രോഫറ്റ്. After arrival at the city of Medina, the first task undertaken by the Prophet was the construction of what is now called Prophet's Mosque. In one part of the building was erected a thatched platform Safa. This was the first residential university of Islam. At the night, students slept there, and during the day, the teachers appointed for the purpose taught them their letters and instructed them in the tenets of religion. Abdullah ibn Sa'd ibn al-As was this such instructor in art of writing. He was a calligraphist and had some became known even during the pre-Islamic days of known as Khatib, a scribe. Ubadah ibn al-Samit reports that he was appointed by the Holy Prophet to teach at Sufa the art of writing and also imparting knowledge of the Quran. The largeness of numbers of those who attended the school of Sufa may be gauged by the fact that some authors have spoken of the 400 students of Sufa. It is possible that this refers to the daily attendance at one moment or other, or for according to Ibn Hannibal, even the resident students numbered sometimes 70 to 80. The more sometimes the number of boarders shot up temporarily when foreign visitors came to Medina. Such is the report made about 80 members of the tribe of Tamim who stayed in the town for some time studying Islam. The biographers of the generous Ansar Abdul Ubaidah mentioned that he featured as many as 80 boarders of Safar during a single night. There are reports that another residential school called Dar al Qura ex- ex- existed in 623 at Medina in the house of Makarama ibn Nawfal. Hardly a year that he passed after the hijrah of the Prophet, when in the month of Ramadan, there took place the Battle of Badr, in which the four outnumbered the Muslims by 3 to 1. The victory when nevertheless the Muslim, and in their hands fell a large number of captives. The treatment that was meted out to the prisoners of the war is one of the most wonderful occurrences in history. The ransom fixed for the prisoners was that those who knew to read and write should teach the Muslim boys the art. What else could have been expected to a personal messenger of God who stated himself in the same breath, I am the prophet of battle and I am the prophet of the mercy, and also I am the abode of learning. Same discerning traditions have described this incident under the eloquent heading "Sanction according to the appointment of pagans as teachers of Muslims." This was not mere accident, but the first step towards the implementation of a vast plan for dissemination of knowledge. The Holy Prophet used to declare, I have been sent in the capacity of a teacher. He used to often tell children to acquire learning from their neighbors and take the lessons at the mosque in the street. The historian Al-Baraduri has recorded that in the time of the Prophet there were 9 mosques in Medina, adding that the people used to say their daily prayers, but on Friday they used to congregate at the Prophet's mosque, Masjid Nabawi. Historians write that the people of Juwata, the modern Al-Hufuf of province of Al-Asa, built a mosque which is the first cathedral mosque for Friday prayer, Masjid Germany, next to Grand Mosque of Medina. We read in a state document the direction of the Prophet given to the people of this town, construct a mosque in such and such places, and according to another transmission of the same tradition, construct a mosque and do such and such works, otherwise I shall wage war against you. In this mosque of Jawata, also a school must naturally have been established. When I visited this place in the suburbs of Al Hufuf in 1975, The Saudi Department of Archaeology had excavated the imposing ruins and people thronged for prayer and benediction. When Amr ibn Haram was dispatched as the governor of Yemen, he was given written instruction to which covered not only administrative matters but also orders of imparting of education. The historian Tabri in the account of year 11 has recorded that Holy Prophet appointed Muad bin Jabal as inspector of schools and sent him to Yemen, where he toured from district to district and organized and supervised the schools. This educational policy extended to women as well as men. According to Sirah ibn Ishaq, the Prophet had habituated even before his migration to Medina that whenever a portion of the Holy Quran was revealed to him, he recited it first to assembly of men and then in assembly of women. This attention to female education naturally increased the course of time, especially in Medina. The Holy Prophet had set apart one day in the week for education of women. A hadith reported by Muhammad, Abu Dawud and others relates how the Hafsa wife of the Prophet, with permission of the Prophet, learned writing from a lady relative, Shifa daughter of Abdullah, who seems to have learned the art even before Islam. It is superfluous here to go further into details. It would be further sufficient to state that it was owing to the attention paid to female education that in later times women vied with men in various branches of learning in the Damascus manuscript of Sahifa Hammam, to which these lines serve an introduction. There is a mention made by a lady teacher who, for a certain generation, served as the transmitter of this work. This is testified by the certificate of hearing endorsed in the lady al Fadil Karima, the daughter of Abu al Faris Najmuddin of al Quraysh al Zabriya, maintained a school of hadith in her house. Another remarkable incident for Kitab al Amal treatise of public translation of Abu Abdul Qasim ibn Salim, which deals with the technical problems at the state finance and after the usual Bismillah begins with the following words. Certified to have been read in the presence of the good and pious Khatiba, the other Khalifa Sheikh of Professor Fakrul Nisa, Shanda daughter of needlemaker Abu Nasr ibn Faraj ibn Umar al-Dinari, the house in Baghdad. The scribes attendant of the Holy Prophet, എന്നുള്ള heading വായിക്കാം. During the Medina period of the life of the Prophet, the work of transcribing letters and carrying out official correspondence was daily on the increase due to the exigencies of state administration and the political needs. The necessary rose, therefore, of employing scribes and amanuenses in even increasing numbers in order to cope adequately with these heavy duties. There was now a larger number of replies to be dispatched with promptness and speed to letters and queries received from the district officials, also timely instruction to be sent from the sender in every direction. If even on such a secret critical occasion on Hijrah to Medina, there were pen, paper, or other writing material and ink carried with Prophet, as is evidenced by letter of immunity that was transcribed and granted to Suraka bin Malik. It was no wonder that in later times the number of scribes largely increased and that the regular secretarial department had to devote itself exclusively to the task of official correspondence of the Holy Prophet. Historians have frequently filled with those chapters giving lists and details of secretarial staff. Some have even produced monographs dealing exclusively with this subject. There are 43 names of companions mentioned in their particular context, who either permanently or occasionally were engaged in the task. No wonder there were some specifically employed in the translating only Quranic revelation newly received from in preparing drafts of official letters to be submitted for the approval of the Prophet. Some in company accounts of zakat and other state revenue, some in registrations and disbursement of objects secured in the shape of booty and war spoils. Some used to take care of only foreign correspondence such as that which concerned foreign rulers and chief of tribes. Some had to draw to estimates of crops after harvesting, as has been described in detail in the historian by the historian. al-Masudi. We also know that Zayd bin Thabit had, in obedience to orders of the Prophet, acquired knowledge of Hebrew language and script, since the Jews of the Arabia, although speaking the Arabic language, used to write in Hebrew script, which they employed in the correspondence with the Prophet as well as the treaties and agreements with him. It may be stated also on the authority of Masudi that Zayd bin Thabit also knew the Greek, Persian, Coptic, and Abyssinian languages and performed the duties of the interpreter for the Holy Prophet. It may be pointed out that two letters attributed to the Holy Prophet and written in Arabic language but in non-Arabic script have come to light. One is the Treaty of Peace concluded in the Khyber, and it is in the Hebrew script. The other is a letter addressed into certain chieftains in Yemen, and this is in the Musnad script. Neither of the two bears the mark of the seal, although Chancellery of the Prophet disposed of it and employed at the time. One may conclude that these documents, although very old, are not originals but prepared by the Kyberians and Yemenites reproductive of their own current needs. Of the two, the Treaty of Khyber is a fake document, and I have spoken it in detail in my French work, Documents or in Diplomatic. Okay, there are in the document numerous anarchisms and other impossibilities. As the Yemen document, the text is perfectly identical with one cited by Ibn Hisham, Sirat, Sirat Rasulullah, and other sources, and Professor Cohen of the Accordis Hautas Tudor Sorbonne Paris in engaged on his study and may publish in an article of instance. The compilation of hadith. ഇതിനൊന്ന് ഒഴിവാക്കണം ഇങ്ങോട്ട് വരാം. Mention has so far made of but a few numerous instances descriptivity of results of general policy formulated by the Holy Prophet in the educational matters. But we are mainly concerned at the present with the question of the compilation of hadith. The term hadith covers not only sayings of the Prophet, but also his actions as well as that he tolerated among his companions. By toleration, we mean the saying by the Prophet or a thing being done by companion of the his keeping silent over the deed or even explicitly approving it. Each of these three categories finds a place in the book of Hadith. The matter now is to be considered is when this draft begins to first compile in writing, to what extent might an unbiased person place his reliance on the books of Hadith. It is to be noted that Sahifa Hammam here presented is one such compilation. It is obvious that it would have been impossible to write down everything that Holy Prophet spoke, did, or tolerated. Such a complete record would have been necessitated superhuman effort and called for angelic agencies. Though there are ഇവിടുന്ന് ഇങ്ങോട്ട് ചാടാം. Hadith written officially during the time of Holy Prophet. Constitution. After the Muslims of Mecca migrated to Medina, they laid the foundations of government and city-state. The Holy Prophet called a constitution all the inhabitants of the place. Meccans, immigrants, Medinians, converts, Jews, and Arabs who had not yet embraced Islam and promulgated a state constitution. This is the first written constitution of any state in the history of the world. As we could have pointed out above, it contains details of the rights and duties of both ruler and the ruled. It begins thus: This is the writing of the Prophet Muhammad, messenger of God, which is effective between the believers and the Muslims of Quraysh origin and of Yathrib town and those who follow them. The Muslims come and join them and partake with them in war. Verily, those form a definite ummah, distinct from all other people. Of the world, etc. Um, the words "this is a writing kitab" and here can apply to written document only. In the course of the 47 actions of the constitutional law, the words "the people of this document" are document are repeated 5 times. There is also a statement: the writing of Kitab shall not be shield any oppressor or sinners. It lays down also the plain law of Yathrib constitutes a sanctuary for the people of this document. Although the constitution itself does not precisely define the limits and frontiers of this plain of Yathrib, it was converted to sanctuary, that is city-state. It appears that these frontiers were recorded in a separate document, perhaps as a bylaw for Ibn Hannibal's state sites. Rafi bin Qazi reports Medina is a haram, which has been rendered haram by Messenger of God, and this is written in Kawlani in eminent skin that is with us. It is from the political point of view, it was felt necessary to define the limits and area of the original city-state. It was also found obligatory from the practical point of view to delimit the boundaries. Thus, Al-Matari in History of Medina words. Kabir Malik reports, the messenger of God made God inclined to him and preserve him, sent me to construct the boundary, pillars, and summits of the hills of the Makkah, Hudaifiyah, Datul, Ushera, and Taim, the four directions of Medina. Census soon after Hijrah, migration to Medina. Holy Prophet had a census taken of the Muslims. Al-Bukhari records a tradition that Holy Prophet said, write down for me the names of those who have subscribed to Islam. Accordingly, we wrote down for him names 1,500 persons. This seemed to include men and women, young and old. It is precise in report that this census had been put down in writing, and the figures lead to the belief that even must have been taken place in year first Hijrah. Letter pattern. There is evidence to show that official documents, agreements, and letter pattern on the part of the Prophet began even earlier in Hijrah. It is reported that prior to Hijrah, Tamim al-Tari was given Habrun, a township in Palestine, as a land grant by means of charter with the express provision. When by the grace of God that town should be conquered, it will be thine. Conquer ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഹമീമിൻ തമിഴ് പറഞ്ഞു. In course of the Prophet's migration, travel to Medina, Sunan ibn Malik al-Mudiji was granted a deed of safe conduct. Again, in the year in first Hijrah, there seems to have been concluded that Junaina tribe north of Medina, a pact of alliance and friendship through the text is not traceable, for in the account of expedition led by Hamza, sent in direction of Sif near the seaport of Yambu, Ibn Hisham and others write that the Majidi ibn Amr Juhayni interposed himself between the Muslims and Quraysh pagans. In his capacity of a sworn ally of both parties, an agreement dating from 2 Hijrah which was concluded with the Damra tribe, however, have been preserved. Al-Suhaili records the copy of the text which begins, this is a writing of Muhammad, Messenger of God, for the Banu Damra. Such agreements concluded throughout of the life of Holy Prophet. Some peculiar things happened too. At the time of Battle of the Ditch, there was drawn up the draft of the agreement, Muwada with the Fazara and Gaftan tribes. On not being ratified, it was scratched out. The quarrel over the wording of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah is well known. The Holy Prophet had finally ordered some return money to be erased. In regard to the Battle of Tabuk, historians have recorded with the Uqaida, the ruler of Damat al-Jandan, entered into a pact of submission to Holy Prophet, sealed the documents with his fingernail. As a matter of fact, it was an ancient custom obtaining amongst the people of Hira, modern Kufah in Iraq, the country of origin in Qadir. They used to take impressions of documents, baked bricks in general, not of the thumb but the fingernail. It produced a line of shaped crescent. It in an archaeological excavation. Pre-Christian documents of contracts have been discovered, carved and burned bricks, bearing not only the sign but also the clarification. The fingernail has been fixed by the way of confirmation. The Holy Prophet sent letters inviting the Byzantine Empire, the Persian Crossroads, the Egyptian the Syrian Negus, and other rulers to embrace Islam. Of his original letter addressed to Heraclius was preserved until very recently. The original letters of Muqawqis, Negus, and Mundir ibn Sawa of Bahrain, modern Al-Hassa in East Arabia, exist even today and are well known. Ibn Asakir writes Abu Abbas Abdullah ibn Muhammad had purchased from the inhabitants of Allah for a sum of 300 golden coins the original document of the pact entered into them by with the Holy Prophet. He said about Quras of Iran that he tore the letter before hearing it. നമുക്കിനി ഇത് കാണാം. ഉം, പ്രവാചക ഹദീസ് എഴുതാൻ കൽപ്പിക്കുന്നത് നമുക്ക് കാണാം. There are not lacking traditions in that Holy Prophet prohibited his companions from putting down in writing and everything that was heard from his lips except the religious Quran. There are also sayings through which he has not only permitted but even ordered companions to write down the sayings. Such seemingly contradictory orders did not create any perplexity in the minds of his companions, because they were fully aware of the context of every pronouncement. They did, however, cause a little confusion on later traditionists, and each compared with the text of saying which had come to their knowledge. Later, when all the relevant data for and against were collected, intelligent and discerning minds found no difficulty in gathering the real desire of the Holy Prophet. For instance, it is worth bringing into the relief that to his that Sahih, the latest specialist Bukhari includes a special chapter on writing down of the his sayings. Such such seemingly contradictory orders did not create any purpose. Sorry. Special chapter on writing down of the signs that is of the Prophet. Chapter on the writing down of the signs that is the Prophet, but that deals with the sanction according to the writing of hadith. There is no chapter, not even a single hadith, issuing the injunctions against or expressing disapprobation of writing down the hadith. Before citing and scrutinizing Before citing and scrutinizing the reports that the Prophet had laid indication against the writing of hadith, it seems meter to continue the present discussion and cite reports on the permissibility of recording hadith. In writing and of actual cases where prophets were repeatedly taking advantage of the permission, such reports are as numerous as they are impressive. Al-Tirmidhi relates that one day an Ansari companion came into the presence of the Holy Prophet and complained weakness of his memory. He added that he felt enlightened and elevated on hearing what Holy Prophet spoke every day by extortion or admonishment, but on the account of his weak memory, he failed to retain it all in his mind. The Holy Prophet replied, "Be helped by the right hand, that is, take it down in writing." The sources does not exactly mention who this Ansari was. One may naturally suppose that he must have been profited by the permission. Abdullah bin Amr al-As. A similar instance is according to the Meccan Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As. He is with the knowledge and permission on behalf of the Holy Prophet used to note down his sayings so that he might not forget them. People asked him not to do so. They said Prophet was after all a human being, subject to moods and pleasures and anger, and to and as such it would be fitting to record indiscriminately anything and everything that was spoken by him. It was a sensible suggestion, but being an intelligent youth, Abdullah went to the Holy Prophet and asked, "May I write down whatever I hear from you?" He replied, "Yes." As an additional precaution, he asked, on occasions of both of pleasure and anger, the Holy Prophet pointed to his mouth and said, "By God, whatever ensues from this is a very rightly and truth." Al-Bukhari cites Wahib ibn Munabih, him related on the authority of his brother Hammam bin Muttab, the compiler of the text presented herewith. I heard Hurairah saying, "Amongst the companions of the Holy Prophet, there is none who recounts a greater number of hadiths than myself. I accept Abdullah bin Amr, who used to write them for me, but not so I." Abdullah gave the name of Sahifa. Abdullah gave the name of a Sahifa Sadiqa, which means a truthful record to his compilation of his collecting and sayings of the Prophet. It is said Abdullah used to say, I have remembered 1000 Muhtar from Prophet. He certainly made narrations thereby and not merely proverbs. ഇപ്പം നമുക്കിവിടെ നിർത്താം. കളിക്കാൻ സംശയം എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ അന്നേ എഴുത്ത് തുടങ്ങിയത് എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇതൊരു വലിയ ഡോക്യുമെൻ്റ്, വലിയ പുസ്തകമാണ്. വലിയ പുസ്തകമല്ല, പക്ഷേ നമ്മൾ സമയപരിമിതി ഉള്ളതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ നിർത്തുകയാണ്. അസ്സലാമു അലൈക്കും. പുസ്തകം നമുക്ക് ഇൻ്റർനെറ്റ് ആർച്ചിവിൽ ലഭ്യമാണ്. സഹീഫ ഹമ്മാം ബിൻ മുനാബി ബൈ ഹമീദുള്ള എന്ന പുസ്തകത്തിൻ്റെ പേര്. ഇത് ഡൗൺലോഡബിൾ അല്ല, ഞാൻ ബോറോ ചെയ്തതാണ്. അസ്സലാമു അലൈക്കും.